Hey everyone, welcome to Tips and Tricks in Real Estate. I am Angela Fazio. That is my awesome co-host Sam Staskal, and today we have an unbelievable guest, the one, the only Sam Powell. Welcome, Sam Powell. Thank you so much for being part of our tips and tricks. And your tech tips are the best. I can't wait for the audience to begin to hear some of your tips. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. You know, it feels like we're like on a news broadcast. Good morning, world. Coming live to you from my Zoom headquarters again. It's great to see everyone.
From my kitchen.
From your kitchen. And then other Sam, I'm super curious. You have a very beautiful, clean slate this morning. Very proud of your background. Way not to confuse the audience about you being, the institution work you're doing is just really impressive. Love to see the growth.
Yeah, I'm in my padded room right now. Let's get this going.
Exactly.
I'm doing fine.
We're hugging you. So I just came out of our Women's Council of Realtors National Leadership 360 here in Chicago. So everyone around the country came into Chicago. So spoiled Sammy got to see everyone. So my voice is a little bit, conference voice, which is all fine and good. Getting my 1-900 number later today for obvious reasons. I know we only have a short window, so I just want to throw some stuff at you guys, some nuggets. And I primarily want to focus on how much we have our phone in our hands and how we can use it in, like clever, effective tip kind of ways, right? So I have this, I like to pretend that I have this thing about efficiency, where if I'm typing something more than once, I'm tired of typing it the second time. But before that, I thought I'd say, how our phones have a lock screen and then a wallpaper, officially called. So you've got two screens on every one of our devices. And if you have a burner phone like I do for Wi-Fi, then you have 4 screens that you can play with. And I say that because you have 2 opportunities for inspiration for yourself, right? So it could be a photo of your family. It doesn't have to be just one image with like Canva and all these other, multi-photo platforms. You can have a number of photos, like your entire family, your pets, an inspirational car that you want to buy, whatever it is that inspires you. You have 2 opportunities to put that on your phone. So I encourage people to do that. Use that technology in a way that's meaningful to you every time you pick the darn thing up, right? Then the next thing I wanted to talk about is on all of our phones in our keyboard setup software, there's a way to do text replacement. So if you think about that almost like an email template, same idea, right? So if I'm going to be, say, for example, practical buyer side use of this, if I'm going to be scheduling showings on Angela's listings in Arizona, I might be like, I on my phone can type hashtag SHOW, that's it. And it will type the following: Sam Powell, eXp Realty, my agent ID number, my cell phone number, my email. And then it'll say, I'd like to schedule a showing on your property at. And
changed my life.
It writes all of that out.
That's pretty genius.
and then you simply put 123 Maple Street, Thursday, 3:00. That's all you have to know for that one text, right? So from a practical standpoint, Angela, agent attraction, setting up Zoom meetings, you'd be like, hey, it was so like the default template could be so amazing, talking with you today. I'd love to see you. Here's the Zoom link I promised you, or whatever it might be, right? I use this a lot for Zoom. Like we all have those private Zoom rooms that are open 24/7 if you want them to be. So if I shot you a text right now with just the hashtag and the word Zoom, because that's my trick, any key command shortcut I do, I always start with a symbol. I happen to use hashtag because I love them. But if you don't use a symbol, if I just wrote SHOW, every time I write SHOW, I want this. And then it's a pain in the neck. So learn from my mistakes over the years. Use a symbol of your choice because you're never writing those words with the symbol by accident, right? And then be mindful of all of the many various ways you can use this. For calendaring, I allow people access to my calendar up to 60 days in advance. So I can send them hashtag CAL, and it will give them a link that allows them to go in and pick 15 minutes or 30 minutes or 60 minutes or schedule me for a 2-hour Zoom presentation. You can build those behind the scenes depending on the third-party calendar resource you're using. I enjoy a service called Calendly because they are super robust, and you can pay for some premium and you have full control behind the scenes. So that's awesome. And since we're talking about key command shortcuts and calendar for as a prime example, even today I did a post about us getting together, and I made a tiny URL that redirected to Angela's live Facebook page for a feed. And I pasted my tiny URL, which says live with Ask for Sam. So if people click that, because I'm using tinyURL as my third-party solution, I on the back end, now when today is over, hi family in the background, when today is over, I can redirect that Live with Sam tinyURL to the next live something that I'm going to be on. So because tinyURL is now a paid service, it's not free anymore. The analytics behind the scenes are pretty cool, and the ability to take a URL, text, and change it to whatever you want anytime is really pretty fantastic, right? So Angela, as an example, it could be a agent attraction video where you have created something that answers a litany of questions for someone. You already have that tiny URL called, thoughts from Angela or whatever, or YEXP or whatever that might be. Make a tiny URL, and then you can behind the scenes redirect the new BizWang video that you've created to realign that message every month or whatever it might be, right? Or it might be, tech nuggets with Sam Powell, and then I gift different tech nuggets, but the URL doesn't change from a marketing perspective.
That's so cool. You've already changed my life. It's been, wait a minute, I'm telling you right now.
How many minutes?
It's been 6 minutes, and you've already given me 3 things that I can apply today.
Right.
Yeah, I love it.
I don't know how to hug you. Wait.
But my question is, where do you find this at?
It's we're all self-taught in our own ways, and let's face it, it's through experiences just like this. I'll be at a conference
on your phone.
Well, that's when I send you a calendar invite so I can walk you through how to do it, right? Or we actually schedule a class where we do a presentation and we walk you through it and show you. So if you find this of interest, maybe it's sort of the next conversation, whether it's me or someone else that has these kind of nuggets, just keep sharing, because it'll resonate with you today, Sam, and you, Angela, and someone 3 days from now will be like, I need that text command shortcut. How the heck did they do that? And then we know who our best friend is at that time. Not Sam Powell, but the other best friend, Google. Google is your other best friend. I also want to touch on very briefly the reawakening of QR codes, right? So remember when they came out almost a decade ago? We'd have to ask Wikipedia, but who cares? Ask Google. And then COVID brought them back to life in the most meaningful, touchless kind of way. And now they're back. And I hope they're back to stay in a way, because Jolie Waldeck out of Vegas and I are considering getting QR code tattoos, because we can redirect where they go.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
As a mini,
where are we scan? Hey, Sam.
It's going to be right. It's right. It'll be right here under the stormtrooper. Yeah.
I didn't know where we're going to have to scan.
Right next to the underwear tattoo on my leg, right next to that one. Let me show you my underwear. Scan here. Anyway, true story. Look at my Facebook if you want to see my tattoo underwear. But the QR code, if I had a tattoo of a QR code, every time I got a new tattoo and someone's like, hey, who's your artist? I could be like, well, the most recent artist, scan here, and you can go right to his Instagram page or whatever. You get the idea. It could take you to askforsam.com. It could take you to a blog about mental health or awareness. Whatever I would want that to redirect to at that moment in time, that's what I kind of love about this technology. You may have seen tattoos where if someone scans them with their phone, it plays the voice of the person whose voice has been recorded in that digital visual, right? So the technology is there. We're just figuring out ways to hack into it in different and unique ways. So for our business, as example, it's going to be hard to see, but it doesn't matter because you'll get the idea. Even on my wallpaper lock screen, I'm not sure what that is. Oh, it's fine. There's a tiny little QR code up in the corner. You can see it, right? So it's on my screen at all times. So I like to have like a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C if I want to connect with like a badass like Sam in person. So I might be like, hey, here's my phone. Bring out your phone with your camera, scan my QR code, and it will give you access to every social media portal I'm on, and the ability to add me right into your phone right then. Now, let's say your phone's acting up and that didn't play nice. I can also have a shortcut. It's shocking. I can send you hashtag BLUE, because I happen to use a third-party service called blue.social for my business card, my digital business card, because they have the most robust service and they just did a beautiful enhancement. So I'm even more in love with them again. They also created it so that how many of us travel through the airport and put our boarding pass in our digital wallet? Any Apple users, digital wallet kids? So this blue.social just added the ability to put it right in my wallet. So now I can go right to my wallet, click blue, and then there's my QR code. It's like super crazy simple. And I kind of love that about it as well. And I'll just show you that real quick, because why not? I just could have been more prepared. But you get the idea. It's just super simple. And that's what it looks like, a bit like a boarding pass, but it's, a simple Sam Powell Chicago Realtor QR code, whatever you've named yourself in that third party service. So now you have those sort of 2 quick and dirty steps. The third one being send them a tiny URL or just text them the link, right? So Sam, if we were standing together, I'd be like, hey, Sam, what's your cell phone number? I'd type in your cell phone number, and then I'd ask you to spell your name, even if I knew it, because it's just my practice for, especially when I don't know your name and I met you 3 years ago and I should know your name and I don't because I'm not a perfect human. So I'll say, please spell your first name, and then you'll spell it. And then I'll have you spell your last name, and I text you your own name. But I do it selfishly so that later when you write back, I know who I'm talking to, right? And I might also, right? And I might also put in there where we met, like WCR Conference 360 2021. I will also take this next step, and if you're wearing a name badge, I'll take a photo of you and your name badge, and I'll do a selfie with you, and I'll send you the selfie of me and you, but I'll keep the one of your name badge and make it part of your profile, so that I'm not in everyone's freaking profile. So it's those extra steps. That's like my conference tips, right? Because everyone wants to connect with you, right? If you just came back from a conference for a couple of days, you've got this stack of, what do I do with these? I don't necessarily need these because I've already done the work. I've done it on the spot, top of mind. And why it's important to do it right then and there is the photo piece, name and face recognition, having your name. And now I can be intentional about going through everyone in the past, 5 days, add to contacts, copy paste the cheat intel that's on there, and do it from my computer, and then enhance it with other intel about you, like what's the best kind of referral to send you, where's the market that you focus your book of business on, those kind of little intels, so that I have it when I need it later.
So if we're gonna take a breath, I want to do just a quick little summary of what we've talked about so far from my own selfish reasons. So first of all, you started out with, and I'm not going to get everything right, but cheat text, like replacement text in your phone, so that you can, the things that you're typing over and over and over, it's a form of a template for texting or whatever.
Yes. Perfect.
And then the other thing is of course you said that you make tiny URLs, and then you're saying that you can attach all kinds of actions to that tiny URL on the back end of the third party system. Is that what you said?
Well, because it's one URL, you can have one action, right? So, but the beauty is I can change that action on the fly anytime I want to.
Okay, got it. And then you use Calendly, so you have like a text replacement for your personal room or your whatever. And then QR codes. You use a third party to create QR codes, as many as you want, if I understand correctly. But you can attach any kind of an action you want to on the back end of a QR code.
Yeah. So for example, like Women's Council is a really great example of this. On our tables, it would have like the link to the agenda for the entire conference, and another QR code that could perhaps allow you to complete a survey about your experiences at the conference. So we can get it while they're thinking about it right there in the room. And we're getting them to use the technology that we want to encourage them to incorporate into their local networks, into their personal business, into like as a family, you could have like a family calendar that you have a QR code for, that everyone goes in and has access to seeing the family calendar or whatever the case might be, right? There's just so many creative uses for it. The more ideas we throw out there, the more one is likely to resonate with one of our viewership, here today on this news channel.
So who do you recommend, who do you use to create your QR codes?
Well, there's so many answers that I'm not the kid who's like, you should or might want to. Right. I do encourage asking that question, like maybe use a service that somebody has already vetted, who says it's worthy of using. But I'm a big fan of Canva, the premium service.
They create.
Yeah. And then the last thing I want to make sure we don't miss out on is the same sort of concept of click and take me somewhere. The idea of click and take me to multiple somewheres, Angela, you reminded me, is this concept of the link tree. Right?
Or Milkshake, yeah.
Yeah, Milkshake. And then Canva also has one now, which is why I make mention of it, because in Canva, you can create your own QR code. You can create your own link tree concept, whatever they call it. Nobody cares. And you can have more of a one-stop shop for running your business. And so I kind of like that angle, not unlike when people ask, what do you use for tracking your mileage and tracking your business and tracking your receipts, that there's like the QuickBooks one for independent contractors has all of those key things kind of built into one-stop shop. So how do we get as efficient as possible on the tool that we have in our pocket 24/7, and also keep it as simple, elegant, and efficient without it being unintuitive, right? We need these applications to be intuitive for our general usership.
That's good stuff, Sam Powell.
Yeah, you're like my new favorite. You're my new BFF.
You have this is so powerful. You have people who aren't even in real estate tuning in right now saying, this stuff is great. It's great. It's awesome.
Well, I think that's the win, right? Because we're going to learn from our outside of our business life, these kinds of things. And so the cross sharing, I think, is absolutely essential and important for all of us to just, the digital is not going to go away. So how do we keep it in our space in meaningful ways and it not become cumbersome, but instead build in these layers of efficiencies instead?
Right.
So if people, Sam,
sorry, you're going to read that.
I was going to say, if people want to learn more from you, Sam, what do they do?
Pretty easy to find if you just search for Ask for Sam as a realtor or hashtag Ask for Sam, you might see in the background here somewhere. I use that pretty religiously all over the place, intentionally, right? So early on in my career, I was able to figure out what I wanted to brand myself as. So if you look for me and want to connect, I'm, super user friendly, and we're putting on courses and classes all the time. So we're happy to sort of share in that so that anyone who wants to be a part of the little bit of learnings and nuggets can join us.
Awesome. What else? Give us one more crazy great thing, or maybe 17 more. I don't know. You choose.
But one of my favorite presentations is 45 nuggets in 45 minutes with Sam Powell, but you select the time. So it could be 60 nuggets in 60 minutes. Let's see, some of my other, I was trying to be super conscious about those. My other favorite thing people know about me is my phone is on Do Not Disturb 99% of the time. It's rare that it's not on Do Not Disturb because we're so easily distracted, not only by our tech, right, but what we're doing in front of us and the noise around us, the dogs, the kids in the background. So me being a self-proclaimed ADHD as an adult, I need to help myself in any way that I can. And one of those ways is shutting my technology down so I can actually focus on the property analysis that I'm doing or the market update or inputting a listing with integrity. So just putting away all those distractions as much as possible. And I found Do Not Disturb to sort of be my favorite solution. Apple, with their most recent update, I happen to be a beta tester, but I think everyone has access to it now. On the Do Not Disturb feature, you can set up personalities for it, right? So it can be like my business mode. I want these applications to come forward and give me notices. I'm in personal mode, so knock all those off and only let my kids and my family reach out to me because I'm on personal time now, or whatever it might be, right? There's one called Focus, where everything is shut off so you can focus with intention. So just, don't be afraid to read the manuals on the technology that you have in front of you. Every year, talented people build things like the hidden nuggets and tips and tricks to do with your iPhone or your Android, or insert the technology you have here. And I encourage us being more mindful about learning about them, right? So bang on them. They're hard to break. And at the same time, if you're a reader or like to listen to audiobooks or that kind of thing, all of those answers are out there in the kind of methodology that you like to learn from. So don't be afraid to go out and explore that, right? If you want to master the technology on your phone, there's so many places you can go to click through.
Absolutely. So I've seen you lots of times speak, and you never, ever, ever disappoint. Ever.
Thank you so much.
Never.
I'm just glad I have a voice. I had some serious concerns. I spent 16 hours in bed starting last night at 6 o'clock because my body was like, hey, time to unplug, right? And I posted this. I put this in our Facebook because I think it's a really important conversation. This is me to this phase or sound asleep, right? And so people are like, when do you hit a wall? And I had so much energy at the time because, when did we get to hug humanity most recently, masked or not, right? And so I was just like, oh, I haven't hit it yet, but I assure you I will. And I hit it yesterday at Jen's parents' house. I was just like, and so we went home early because Sammy was done. But I'm fascinated by this because of my love for technology and how to recharge those. We have to plug those bad boys in, right? Or Sam will hashtag you poor battery management and chastise you for leaving your house at 8 a.m. with a dead battery, right? And for us, we have to unplug. And so I think it's a really important conversation on both sides. Plug in your tech, unplug yourself.
Nice. Well said. Thank you very much. Don't jump off when we're not live anymore. But
Promise.
thank you very much. I know for 100% sure with all of these comments that you are very popular. Not news to me.
I'm glad I wasn't looking at those because the last thing I need is a distraction about how awesome I am. Okay.
All right, guys, keep tuning in. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Sam.
Until next time.